Good morning. This is day 3 of Prayer Tithe, our final day for January. However, we get to be together tonight, which thrills me. So I will make this brief this morning, and everyone can just get on to their day. I, like the rest, part of what I'm sharing today is a personal confession, shall we? Whatever you want to call it. Like the rest of America, I have been saying I'll start in January for about 3 months now. And my brother is like the knower of all gym things. He has been committed to the gym for over a decade. It's a huge pillar of his life. And I told him that I had been, I've gone every day. I went 4 days straight. I am so awesome. And I was telling him how I had taken time off my miles, and I knew it didn't really matter that much because it was basically me just getting in the groove. But I was telling him about that, like admitting that I knew it didn't really mean much after 4 days, but it still felt good, And he went into gym trainer mode and honestly kind of ticked me off. And which is funny that the Lord has put this on my heart to share, because I feel like it's going to really validate him being annoyed with me. But he went into this whole trainer mode explanation of how I can't just, because I was like, it feels so, I just like give it everything I got for a few minutes and then I chill out and, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, you don't need to do that. And I was like, but I want to. Like, I want to. I like running. It feels good to run as hard as I can first thing in the workout, And he starts explaining to me in his very gracious, kind, patient tone, that was very sarcastic, about how that's stupid. And I can't do that. He was like, you can't go from not running to running as hard as you can. It's not about the time. He said, it's not about the miles. It's about the time. You've got to chill out and just walk. He was like, instead of focusing on your mile, focus on time. Just go in there and be like, okay, I'm going to walk on a slight incline for 20 minutes. I'm going to get a good sweat out and I'm going to feel good. And I was like, well, I'll do that, but I want to run too. And he was like, whatever, take it for what it's worth. You shouldn't do that. That's stupid. You're going to get hurt. Your body's not acclimated or adjusted to this kind of activity. You're going to hurt yourself. And this morning, as I was, kind of asking the Lord, like, what would you have me say, share? These devotionals they feel vulnerable, because most of the time stuff that you share is stuff that the Lord's really working through you with, And I was like, okay, Lord, which category? Because God knows there's enough categories of open tabs that we're working through, right? And I heard him say, time, not miles, which is what my brother, he texted me yesterday morning as like a reminder, time, not miles. And I was like, yesterday was the first day I skipped the gym. So I was like, hey, today was bed, not gym. But today I went to the gym and I texted him. I said, okay, today, time, not miles. And I felt the Lord really working in my spirit with that phrase, time, not miles. And I just couldn't help but think, we're really focusing this month on rebuilding as a church and what that means in our own faith to really get to like a foundational place of, Lord, tear down and rebuild what in me needs to be tore down and rebuilt correctly. Because he gave me that revelation years ago of like, we have a lot of structures within ourselves and within the church as a whole, but how many of those structures, just like the scripture says, are built on faulty foundation. And so I couldn't get away from him saying, yeah, it's about the time, not the miles. And how many times, especially in me and my personality, when I just decide something, I want to do it right then. I want it accomplished right then. The process of things, the the journey of, it's beautiful. I just want to get it done, and I want to mark it off my list, and I want to move on to what's next. And the Lord, you cannot usurp. I don't even know if that word applies here. That's more of like a governmental thing, but I mean, I guess so. It probably does. You cannot usurp the process with the Lord. And I felt that this morning with my silly run of, if I go bust out the gates, guns blazing, ready to just do what I want to do what I've set out to do, without the process or the building up the endurance to do that, whether it's in the physical or the spiritual, I'm going to get hurt, or I'm going to fall and embarrass myself. I'm going, and that we fall, we fail in life. I've failed far more times than I've succeeded, but the Lord covers that most of the time. But I do believe that there is an extension of grace where he's like, okay, I keep trying to tell you to slow down and be with me so that we can prepare for this. But if you're not going to listen to that, then I guess I'll just let you go. And those are the seasons where we run through all the doors and all the barriers that he's said, hey, hold on. And we don't listen, and we just keep running. And that's when we either really crash and burn, or we really embarrass ourselves, or both. And I don't know about you guys, but in this season of rebuilding, I want to do it well. I want my foundation to be solid and secure. I want the Lord to work through the things that need refined out of me in the private, in the secret place. Like, that's the mercy of God, that he will expose things, because that is his mercy. If he has tried to work through things in us in the secret place and we have resisted it, he will, because it's his mercy to, ultimately the goal is not to protect your dignity. The goal is to protect your soul. And if he has done it protecting your dignity and you have not given in to, you've not surrendered it, the next step of that mercy is it might be embarrassing. And so so to circle back to my running this morning, I focused on time, not miles. And by the end of it, I walked. I never ran. I never sprinted. I never gave it everything I had for as long as I could. I just was steady and consistent. And that I walked further, burned more calories than and walked. My session was like 30 minutes rather than 15. And I walked further and burned more calories. I sweated so much more. Annoyingly, my brother, if he sees this, he's gonna be like, I told her. He was right. I felt better. And that sweat, the Lord, even as I was like, oh, I'm sweating, this feels good, I was like, oh gosh, even that, like, Lord, let me do this steady, consistent stuff. Let me bring to the surface everything that needs to be worked out of me in the steady consistency with you. And as we're steady and we're consistent, as we're in that place, I couldn't help but think of John 15. If you've been a believer for really any time, you've probably heard this. John 15:1, I am the true grapevine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch of mine that doesn't produce, and he prunes the branches that do bear fruit, so that they will produce even more. You have already been pruned and purified by the message I've given you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. For a branch cannot produce fruit if it is severed from the vine, and you cannot be fruitful unless you remain in me. Another versions say abide, you dwell, live, be. And I want to dwell and live and be before I'm going and doing. And January listen, me, I am this person. This isn't me like talking about it. It's me. January for so many people is like, okay, let's start. Let's do all the things. And yes to all of those things. But if we don't slow down, steady ourselves in the Lord, find the rhythm of abiding in him, find the rhythm of being in him, then we're not going to be able to go and do what we need to do, because we're not going to have that foundation, that endurance built up in us. And endurance protects us, right? Like if I go, like my brother was saying, and try to run 2 miles and give it all I got, I do not have the endurance for that physically. And I'm going to make myself sick or hurt. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to throw up, like all the things that my body's saying, we are not ready for this. Stop. And spiritually, I wonder how many times have I been burnt out? How many times have I been discouraged or failed because I didn't steady myself and remain? And so I just want to encourage you guys, let's go, let's do. There is much to be done. But before we can do that effectively and well, we have to remain. We have to learn how to remain. It really truly is about the time and not about the miles. It's about spending the time and not worrying about how many miles we got under our belt, but spending the time with the Lord that prepares us for those miles. It really is. Even as I'm saying this, I'm like, oh Lord, it's a really deep work that has to be done in us. And so this is me confessing to you today, family, like I got to put in the time and not worry about the miles. So let's prepare well. Let's be excited. Let's have vision. Let's ask the Lord for strategy. But before we start sprinting that direction, let's be sure that we're all prepared in dwelling and remaining and being where we're not outrunning where God has us. Sometimes we can run too fast and he's like, we ain't there yet. Like, come back. You're not ready for that. Come back, remain here. Let's build right here. Let's prepare right here and we'll get there. So today, as you go through your day, as you finish your prayer time this morning, focus on the time and not the miles. And before we know it, it'll be like this morning on the treadmill for me. I'll look down and be like, oh my gosh, I've gone even further. I've gone over my mile. And won't it be like that with us, church? That if we really put ourselves in that place of dwelling and remaining with him, one day we're going to all look up and be like, oh my God, can you believe we've made it this far? Can you believe it's now that this is here, that we're here? So I love you guys. I can't wait to see you all at church tonight. We will have pizza for sale and the outreach team will be selling it. So any proceeds from that will go towards outreach endeavors that we are excited to launch this year. So love you all. Hope to see you tonight. Be blessed today and remain.